Turn, 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 turn. My God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my God. Hold me closely to his side, with love and strength for each new day. He will make a way. Good morning. You're welcome to day 5 of the series, Activate Your Inner Peace. And in today's series, we shall be looking at who is in your mind. You might wonder, what is she talking about? How can someone be in my brain? The straight fact is that many often than not, we rent space to squatters in our brain. And so the answer to who is in my brain is simply squatters. It is important that we know this, because it is only when we are aware of these squatters that we have rented spaces to in our brain that we can begin to watch out for them and identify them for eviction. These squatters are triggers of our thoughts, which can be distractions living in our minds in form of unwanted, unhealthy, and unproductive thoughts. These squatters occupy a space in our thoughts and end up messing up things for us, if not evicted. There are different kinds of squatters that could live in our mind, but I will briefly explain them, as we cannot cover all regarding to these squatters in this series. However, I will throw light on them for us to understand them. These squatters include things like the inner critics. Inner critics here are noises which could either be ours or from others. So noises that come from us or from others. The second squatter I would like us to learn about today is what is called the warrior. This squatter constantly keeps us in a permanent fear of what is unknown, permanent fear of the future. It keeps asking, what if, without allowing us to move on. The third squatter we need to consider here are the reactors or the troublemakers. And this squatter arises as a result of wounds, mostly wounds from the past. Though there is a popular saying that time heals wounds, but I must say, not all wounds. Because if this is anything to go by, then I would say that time does not heal the wound of the mind. Probably physical injuries, that might apply. What then heals the wounds of the mind? Acceptance, letting go, and forgiveness. This is because the trouble squatters constantly robs us of our peace, and that's why we need to heal in order to activate our inner peace. The fourth squatter I would like us to learn about today is what is called the sleep deprivers. And this squatter is a combination of factors of all other squatters, including the ruminators, the rehearsers. You know, some people, when something happens, they go on and on about it. They keep saying it, repeating it like a dress rehearsal. These have a way of stealing your peace of mind because it robs you of sleep and your inner peace. Now that we're aware that our mind house squatters and that our environment play a huge role in ensuring our peace of mind, then we would need to answer the question, do we really need to accept all thoughts that come to our mind? We have seen that some of these thoughts might actually be ours, but many times these thoughts are not ours, but other people's thoughts or the result of what we saw or heard. How many of our beliefs, ideas, and thoughts are really ours and not attributes from others' information as a result of what we read or what we heard. So, should we then accept and believe every thought that passed through our mind? By now, I'm certain that you have the answer to that question. Thinking is such a natural process that most people are not even aware of what is going on in their mind. It is an automatic behavior. Our interaction with people around us, the conversation that goes on around us, ranging from the television, what we hear, what we read, and all create different thoughts in our minds. This is a natural process and happens every second and minute of the day and night. So then, if the unending flow of thoughts is a natural process, why should we be bothered about it? Why should we care about it? In answering that, it will interest you to know that if you want to have some control over your life and achieve something great in life, you need to learn to stop every thought that enters your mind. It is very important to consciously learn this. You need to reject the thoughts that are contrary or in opposition to your goals in life. Science has it that human mind has been wired to respond faster to negative thoughts than the positive. And this in itself is not a bad thing, because it is the way of the brain to protect and preserve mankind. Often, the thoughts that we accept into our minds are negative thoughts, worries, and limiting thoughts. Thinking of it continually becomes a habit, and you begin to believe them. Gradually, you start living in accordance with them, which destroys your inner peace. The big question, however, is that really something you want? That's the big question. It is strange, but to most people, it never occurs to them that it is possible to accept some thoughts and reject some other thoughts. Now that you know that you can, would you leave your mind wide open, or the doors to your mind wide open for every and anything to come into your house, to come into your mind? Would you really allow that? Certainly not. By the control of your mind, you have to keep things that does not empower you out of your mind, out of your thoughts. And this will help you to be in control of your mind instead of the other way around, instead of your mind controlling you. Some thoughts hang longer in the mind, and others just for a short period of time. Some people attract thoughts of certain kinds to their mind, and others attract different kinds of thoughts. It all happens without being aware of what is going on, or without our permission. However, we can control what we accept. No matter how long a thought stays in the mind, if you keep repeating it, they would affect your behavior and your thoughts. If you permit your mind to be constantly busy with thoughts and accept everything your mind says to you as true, or act in accordance with them without any sort of filtration, then you are letting those thoughts control your life. Always try to pay attention to your mind, especially when you are alone. If you stop accepting every thought that comes to you, you would have gained some control over your mind, over your thoughts, and ultimately over your life. Your focus will improve, and so would your inner strength and inner peace. To survive in a noisy environment can be very exhausting and stressful, I know. We cannot always control the nature of the environment we find ourselves, and it is not always possible to live in an environment that is completely free of turbulence. However, there are few things you can do to help you maintain your peace of mind. You can teach yourself to ignore those noises and distractions that range in your thoughts. I've experienced such peace before. There are days I feel mentally drained, not because I have had a lot to do, but because I allowed so many thoughts into my mind. I still remember clearly speaking to a friend and a senior coach by name Zuriel. Sometime in the past, I said to her, I feel very overwhelmed and it looks like I can't forge ahead. She was able to help me activate my inner peace through guided questions that left me meditating for some days. And after that, I felt a lot of relief and I gained clarity on how to forge on with what we discussed. Sometimes I just take a break and focus. I could just pause and say to myself, all that matters now is me. You might call it selfish, but I call it self-care and self-preservation. This has a magical way of refilling you and energizing you to become better to yourself and to everyone around you. Because it is said that you cannot pour from an empty cup. The cup needs to be filled or at least have substantial content before you can pour into another person's cup. On the plus side, learning to calm your mind in a busy and a noisy environment helps you develop inner strength and endurance. And in this process, you would have activated your inner power, your willpower, self-discipline, and you will have a great deal sense of satisfaction and the zeal to move on, which eventually boosts your performance level and help you to optimally perform. So with this, we come to the end of today's series, which is the day 5 of the series, Activate Your Inner Peace. Tomorrow being the day 6, we shall be looking at how to clear your mind. Gradually, we're delving into the activation, because activating your inner peace is not just knowing what peace is not, but I would give you actionable steps, things you will actually do in order to activate your inner peace. Until I come your way again tomorrow, I remain your Serenity Coach, Chine Nwobi. Bye.